Day 84. Joshua chapter 9, 10 and 11. Beneath the surface, the passages we read today are about decisions, deception, consequences, and the faithfulness of God even when we get it wrong. Let's begin with the whisper on the deception you didn't pray about. After the victories at Jericho and Ai, fear spread across the land. The surrounding nations had heard what God was doing through Israel. One group, the people of Gibeon, chose a different strategy. They didn't prepare for war. They prepared a lie. They dressed in worn-out clothes, carried dry, moldy bread, and pretended to come from a distant land. They approached Joshua and said, "Make a treaty with us." And here is the turning point. The quiet mistake that changed everything. The Israelites sampled their provisions, but did not inquire of the Lord. Let that sink in. They looked at evidence. They analyzed the situation. They made a logical decision. But they didn't pray. Not every good decision is a God decision. How many times have we done this? You look at a business deal, it makes sense. You enter a relationship, it looks right. You accept an opportunity, it feels good. But you didn't ask God. And like Joshua, you later realize, you were sincere, but sincerely wrong. The Gibeonites tricked them, and Israel was bound by a covenant they shouldn't have made. Even when you miss it, God doesn't abandon you. Joshua didn't break the covenant. Instead, he adjusted. He moved forward with wisdom, because sometimes, faith isn't about undoing mistakes, it's about walking rightly after them. Now because of this treaty, Israel was suddenly connected to Gibeon, and that connection triggered war. 5 powerful kings of the Amorites, including the kings of Jerusalem, Hebron, Jarmuth, Lachish, and Eglon, joined forces. Why? Because Gibeon had made peace with Israel. And suddenly, Israel found themselves fighting not just their own battles, but someone else's. Another whisper reflects on some battles that come because of your associations. This is a hard truth. Sometimes the battles you're facing didn't start with you. They came because of who you connected yourself to. Wrong partnerships, wrong alliances, wrong agreements. And now you're dealing with pressure, stress, and conflict you didn't plan for. But watch this. Even though the treaty was made without consulting God, God still showed up for Israel in the battle. As the 5 kings advanced, Joshua marched all night to defend Gibeon, and God intervened in a powerful way. He threw the enemy into confusion. He sent hailstones from heaven. He even made the sun stand still. Yes, the sun stood still, not because Joshua was perfect, but because God is faithful. Then this whisper about God's faithfulness being greater than your mistakes. This is for someone listening. You may be in a situation right now that you created. You didn't pray. You rushed. You assumed. And now you're in the middle of a battle. But hear this clearly. God is still willing to fight for you. Not because you got everything right, but because he is merciful. The 5 kings fled and hid in a cave at Makkedah. They thought they could escape. But they were found. Joshua said to his commanders, "Come here and put your feet on the necks of these kings." This wasn't just about victory. It was a message. Those kings once came with power, intimidation, and fear. But now, they were defeated. Joshua made his leaders physically step on their necks to show, this is what God has done. This is what he will continue to do. In your life, this means that fear you used to have, that insecurity, that situation that once controlled you, God doesn't just want to remove it. He wants you to see that it no longer has power over you. You must confront what once threatened you. As Joshua continued his campaign, conquering city after city, the Bible says, all these kings and their lands Joshua conquered in one campaign. Because the Lord, the God of Israel, fought for Israel. Joshua did exactly as God instructed. He hamstrung their horses and burned their chariots. Why? Because God didn't want Israel depending on military strength. Don't keep what God told you to let go of. We learn that sometimes God gives you victory, but then tests your obedience afterward. Will you fully obey? Or will you keep what looks useful? The horses and chariots looked like assets, but God knew they could become distractions. In your life, this might be a habit you should leave behind, a connection you shouldn't keep, an opportunity that looks good but isn't God. Partial obedience can lead to future problems. Total victory requires obedience. Then another whisper is at the moment when God allows opposition. We read, "It was the Lord himself who hardened their hearts to wage war." This means it is not every battle that is random. Some are allowed, even orchestrated, to fulfill God's greater purpose. Some battles are part of your becoming, You've been wondering, why is this so hard? Why won't this situation go away? It might not be punishment, it might be preparation. God uses opposition to establish victory. He uses resistance to build strength. He uses battles to position you for rest. Lastly, after all the battles, after the deception, the mistakes, the wars, the victories, the Bible ends this section with a quiet, powerful statement. Then the land had rest from war. Your story doesn't end in struggle. This is the hope you hold on to. Yes, you may make mistakes. Yes, you may face battles. Yes, you may deal with consequences. But if you keep walking with God, rest is coming. Peace is coming. Clarity is coming. Victory is coming. So today, ask yourself, where am I making decisions without asking God? What battles in my life came from wrong connections? What has God already defeated that I'm still afraid of? And what is God asking me to fully let go of? Remember this. God is not looking for perfection. He is looking for dependence. And when you learn to seek Him first, you won't just win battles, you'll walk in rest.